Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time out to come and listen to our presentation today. My name is Jannyne, and I am running the Woodland Harbourside preschool in Aberdeen. Now, I first joined the group in 2007 as an early years teacher, and since then have progressed through to running the school and in my current position. So since I joined the school in 2007, I've seen the group grow, and I feel very proud and privileged to be part of that growth. So enough about me. Let's talk about Woodlands. So Woodlands opened their first school over 37 years ago, and it's a family-owned and run business even to this day. We have 11 schools, and 3 of those are Montessori, and we currently have over 2,000 children enrolled in our classes at the moment. Now, all of our schools are registered with the Education Bureau in Hong Kong, and for our traditional schools, we are accredited with the Preschool Learning Alliance in the UK, and we're very proud to be the only preschool in Hong Kong holding that accreditation. And for our Montessori classes, for our Montessori schools, we have the accreditation with the Montessori Evaluation and Accreditation Board in the UK. So our philosophy is fulfilling every child's potential. Now, being an international preschool in Hong Kong, we welcome all nationalities. And in my school in particular, we have 21 different nationalities in my school at the moment, which I think is absolutely fantastic being in Hong Kong. Now, we strive to provide a warm and nurturing environment, so ensuring a stimulating and creative learning environment and giving the children a solid foundation for academic excellence, social integration, and self-esteem. Now, all of our teachers are well-trained and qualified, and again, we have many nationalities on our team, which again, I think is wonderful. So we follow the Early Years Foundation stage, or EYFS, of the UK National Curriculum. And that covers children from birth to 5 years. And within that foundation stage, there are 7 areas. And I will talk to you about that in a minute. Now, through fun and interactive teaching, the children will learn through bi-monthly themes. So the themes could be beach, sea, and underwater, people who help us, animals, food and shops. And so the parents will receive a monthly calendar, a curriculum plan to show what the children will be concentrating on, and also so you as parents can follow that through at home also. And with all of these activities, they are hands-on, open-ended, child-initiated and creative. And throughout the school year, the teachers will spend time observing and assessing the children, so we know what to plan ahead, so just for your child's development and for their age. So let's have a look at the 7 learning areas that we focus on within the Early Years Foundation stage. And so we first of all look at the 3 prime areas. And the 3 prime areas are there to develop the child's curiosity, their love for learning, and the children will start building solid relationships. So as I go through these, I want to give you an overview of the expectations of a 5-year-old, those who are ready to go on to a primary class. So we first of all look at communication and language. So looking at listening and attention. So the children should be able to listen to stories, rhymes, poems, and answer questions about them and make predictions. We also look at understanding. So being able to answer questions. So using who, what, where, when, why. And that's in response to those stories. And also the children should be able to express themselves using past, present, and future forms when talking about events. We also focus on physical development, so moving and handling, so negotiating space and developing their fine motor skills. And at this age, being able to hold the pencil effectively. We also look at health and self-care. So the importance of healthy eating, lifestyle and exercise. And also at this age, being able to dress themselves and undress themselves, and also being able to use the toilet independently. Now, for all of our Woodland schools, we offer physical activity classes, and that's what we call Kids in Motion. And it's a physical activity class, so also obviously focusing on their gross motor skills, but we also teach them about healthy eating, nutrition, why we keep fit. So with these physical activities, they could be, say, jumping around like frogs on a lily pad, or catching and throwing beanbags, or even last week I was watching a class and they were going through, under and over obstacle courses, which of course you can imagine they absolutely loved. Then the last prime area is personal, social and emotional development. So for this, we're focusing on self-confidence and awareness. So the children should be confident to talk in a familiar environment in front of adults and children. And this is when we encourage the children to do show and tell. So we encourage the children to bring in an item or an object, and usually this is theme related. So for instance, I was watching a show and tell a couple of weeks ago, and their theme was transport. And so this little boy brought in his model aeroplane that he had built and made with his father, and he was so proud to show this off to his classmates and to his class teachers, which is just so lovely to see. Then we move on to managing feelings and behaviours. So the children at this age should be able to start to be aware of other children's feelings, and also knowing what behaviours are appropriate or not, and also understanding and following rules. And lastly, they're making relationships. So they should be able to form positive relationships with the familiar adults and children. So within those 3 prime areas, we also look at 4 specific areas within the early years foundation stage. And these 4 specific areas are there to reinforce those prime areas. So first of all, we look at literacy. So again, let's have a look at children who are ready to move on to primary classes. So within reading, the children should be able to read simple 3-letter words or CVC words, so consonant, vowel, consonant, such as cat, dog, pan. And using their phonic knowledge, they're able to read more complex words, sight words and simple sentences. So for them, it's developing from learning to read to reading to learn. And with all of our Woodland schools, we follow reading schemes from the UK. So for our traditional schools, we focus on letters and sounds, and also jolly phonics. And for our 4-year-olds, that's when we're introducing the Oxford Reading Tree programme. And this is a really popular reading scheme from the UK, and many international primary schools in Hong Kong also use it. And we also introduce the children to library, so how a library works. So the children will go to the library once a week, so we teach them how a library works, how to be responsible for books. So they get to choose a book, take it home for a week, and then bring it back the following week. So it's something really fun that they can be doing at home with you or with the family. And within this area, we also focus on writing. So being able to use their phonic knowledge to start writing more complex words before moving on to simple sentences. And that's what we call emergent writing. And this is introduced to those children in their final year of preschool, so those 4 to 5-year-olds. Next, we look at mathematics. So the children should be able to count to 20 and beyond, and also backwards from 20, and find the numbers before or after a certain number. And also, this is the age where we start basic subtraction and addition. So this is usually using objects in or around the classroom. We also look at shapes, space, and measures. So using everyday language to talk about size, weight, distance, money, volume. So using mathematical language to describe the objects or shapes. Then we move on to understanding the world. So we're teaching the children about people and communities. So they should be able to talk about their past, present, and future events in their lives. And also we look at the world around them. So being aware of their immediate environment and the changes that take place in those environments. So, for instance, people who come and go, or plants that grow up and die. And also within this area, we look at technology. And of course, in this day and age, children are able to use a wide variety of technology at home. And so we also bring that into the school. So we use technology such as computers, iPods, iPads, digital cameras. And then the last area we look at is expressive arts and design. So exploring and using materials and media. So using a variety of materials and experimenting with colours, designs and form. And also encouraging the children to be imaginative. So children will use design and technology, art, music, role play, and all of these to represent their thoughts and feelings. So as you can see, all 7 learning areas of the early years foundation stage are all interconnected. So the child is an effective learner. So learning through play and exploration to be an active learner and a critical thinker. Now, as I mentioned, we have Montessori classes. And so let's have a look at how the Montessori curriculum fits into the early years foundation curriculum. So in blue at the top, you can see practical life, sensorial, mathematics, language, and cultural. And at the bottom here in the orange, you can see the early years foundation stage learning areas. And I'm going to talk to you about how they interconnect really nicely. So with Montessori, when we're looking at practical life, we use materials aiming to develop the children's life skills and independence. So exploring these materials will help them outside the classroom. So materials such as Velcro, buttons, zippers, buckles. So promoting independence and helping them with their dressing and undressing. And also to help in all of the areas, we focus on pinching, gripping, pegging, pinning, threading. So all helping with their hand-eye coordination and also for their pre-writing skills. And also within Montessori, we do a lot of transferring objects, so particularly from left to right. And again, this is preparing the children for their pre-writing skills. Next up, we have sensorial. Now, sensorial enhances learning across all of the 5 areas within the Montessori curriculum. So it ties in nicely with the early years foundation stage mathematics learning. So children are learning mathematical language and vocabulary, such as cube, and to start to be able to order objects by size. Also with the phonics and numeracy, we learn with sensory aids. So sensory aids look very similar to these. And these are sandpaper, numerals, and letters. And we also look at, we also concentrate on smell, sound, and taste experiences. And these also tie into knowledge and understanding the world. So we also, within sensorial, we look at earth, air, water, as the children describe their sensory experiences. Now, within language, Montessori has 3 reading levels. So we start with the pink and we work our way up. So pink, blue, and green. So the pink series is easiest, and the children work up to the green. And this also incorporates with the early years foundation stage communication and language and literacy areas. And lastly, we look at cultural. So cultural, we look at history, geography, botany, zoology, and science. And this area of learning also fits in perfectly with understanding the world. So we offer many classes within the Woodland group of preschools. Now for our lower years, we offer rollers who are 6 to 12 months, wrigglers who are 12 to 18 months, and playgroup for 18 months to 2 years and 4 months. So all of these classes, the child will come accompanied with one adult. And as well as weekday classes, we also hold Saturday classes. So that's a perfect opportunity for those full-time working parents to also be involved in schooling, so you're not missing out on anything. We also offer Stepping Stones classes. So for Stepping Stones, these children are 2 years and 4 months to 2 years and 8 months. And for these children, this is the first time they're coming to school by themselves. So we're helping them learn about school routine, we're helping them with the toilet training, and also any separation issues or anxieties that they have. Now with all of these classes, we focus on sensory play, gross motor development, messy art, stories and songs and games, and also familiarising with the school environment and routine. Then for our preschool classes, we have Montessori and traditional classes. So for those children who are attending Montessori classes, they are children who are 2 years and 8 months to 6 years. And these children are all in one class. So these are mixed ages in the same class. And for this, the children are learning through a self-directed learning environment. So it provides the younger children with role models and gives the older children an opportunity to reinforce their own knowledge by helping the younger ones. Then for our traditional classes, these children are in same age groups. So for instance, we could have children who are 3 to 3.5 years old or 3.5 to 4. And this is more teacher-led, more group-based work. Now we offer English classes, bilingual classes, so bilingual being one teacher English, one English teacher and one Mandarin teacher. And also we have Mandarin, so pure Mandarin classes. Now for all of our Mandarin classes, we teach simplified Mandarin. So for our English classes, the children will be following learning objectives such as daily conversations, greetings, and vocabulary. And then we also teach reading and writing for those older age groups. Now they'll be focusing on topics, and topics could be numbers, colours, family, food and shops. So by providing the children with a 30 minutes intensive Mandarin circle time within their English class session, they'll cover the objectives and topics whilst being involved in activities such as singing, story time, games and reading. Then for our bilingual classes, all instructions are 50% in English and 50% in Mandarin. So the children will be focusing on topics, and these are related with everyday life. So the children are able to distinguish Mandarin from English, so understanding basic vocabulary and expressing their needs in Mandarin. And the children will cover all areas of learning whilst being involved in the activities. So activities such as arts and crafts, painting, computer studies, cooking, or games. And then for our pure Mandarin classes, the only medium of language is Mandarin. So all instructions of learning are in Mandarin. So providing so helping them to provide and develop the children's language skills, so within their listening, speaking, reading and writing. And of course the teachers are able to differentiate on the different learning abilities and developmental needs. And so you may have children in there who may be French. So actually learning Mandarin could well be their third language. And only yesterday I was observing a Mandarin class, and out of 16 children, there were 8 different nationalities learning Mandarin in that Mandarin-only class, which of course is fantastic. Now, we believe it's really important to expose the children to cultural events. So we celebrate Chinese New Year, Dragon Boat Festival, and only yesterday, all of our schools were celebrating Mid-Autumn Festival. And we also have many school events, and these school events you can also be involved in also. So we have Meet the Teachers Night. So that's an event that we do at the beginning of the school year where we invite the parents to come in, meet their class teachers, get to know more about their child's curriculum, and also have a look around their child's class, see their artwork on the walls or their photos on the boards. We also have parent-teacher conferences, and these are held twice a year. And we also expose the children to really fun charity events. Now, being a preschool, we always look for an opportunity to get dressed up and have a party. And so you can also be involved in those as well. So we would invite the parents to help us out, volunteer for different maybe activities or crafts. And we celebrate things like Christmas, Easter, Diwali, World Animal Day. So it's just a fun way of being involved with your child. And we also invite parents to come in for their child's birthdays. So if we know that your child's birthday is coming up, we'll invite you to come in. And also you could be inviting grandparents, cousins, sisters, brothers. The more the merrier. We also celebrate, of course, Mother's Day and Father's Day, and this is a really lovely time to be involved in a lovely craft with your child. And sometimes the children might have a special song or a secret poem that they're going to be performing for you. We also have field trips, so each class will go out on a field trip twice a year. And it's usually theme related. So for instance, if we're looking at transport, the children might be travelling on the Star Ferry or venturing out on the Peak Tram. And also Christmas concerts, of course. This is the long-awaited festival that children have been rehearsing for it could be up to a month before. And so we'll invite you in to watch the children, and they feel very proud once they have their parents in the audience. And also we invite Father Christmas to come and visit us once a year. And lastly, we have our annual sports day. And this is held usually around February time. And with this, it's held at the Hong Kong Football Club. And we'll invite the parents to come in, and we'll have lots of fun activities that the children will be doing, and also not forgetting our mums and dads races. So within the Woodland group, we have many extracurricular club activities on offer. And these are perfect for those children, particularly for those who are coming for just in the morning, and they just want to have a little taster as to what an afternoon class is like. And also we have activities and clubs that you can be involved in also, such as Mandarin for grown-ups. Now, we believe it's really important to have an open dialogue with our parents, so being able to form a solid partnership with them. Therefore, we have an open door policy, and we welcome all contact and feedback from our parents, particularly if they need to discuss any concerns or queries about their child's development and also their further primary schooling after Woodlands. As I mentioned, we hold parent-teacher conferences. That's twice a year, every November and May, and that's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to discuss your child's development. And we'll also provide you with an end-of-school year report, and that's at the end of May. And so in your May parent-teacher conferences, you can discuss your child's report and where you want them to be going on to next. And we'll also provide you with a communication diary, which will look very similar to this. So on your child's first day of school, we'll provide you with a communication diary. And it's a really ideal way for you to have contact with your teachers. And it can be every day if you want to. And it's even more ideal for those children who are coming on school buses. So if you're not dropping them off, you're able to have dialogue with your teachers every day. And we also provide you with weekly class letters, and these will be emailed out to you every Friday. Now, I'm sure many of you have had this, where you've experienced when you've asked your children, what did you do this week? or what did you do at school today, invariably the answer is nothing. So the perfect way for us is to email you a class weekly letter. So it's a perfect way for you to get to know what your child has been doing, and we also provide you with some photos of your child in action, and also we can give you a little taster of what we're going to be doing the following week. So what next for our preschoolers? So, as I mentioned, the teachers undergo assessments and observations throughout the year. So that's to make sure that your children are developing their skills at the right pace for their age. And as children are invited to attend primary school assessments and interviews throughout the school year, it's our job to make sure that these children are fully prepared for those interviews. And as every primary school has slightly different criteria and expectations, our teachers are aware of what they are, so we can make sure that we prepare your child accordingly. Now, many of you may have a request from these primary schools for a teacher reference form, and that's something that we can do for you. And these are really great and detailed forms, and it's a fantastic way for the schools to find out your child's strengths and weaknesses. They ask about parent support, and also it's ideal for us to be able to tell those schools how to help your child when they're coming for assessments or interviews, and also to help them when the child actually goes to those primary schools. And we also feel it's really important for our heads of schools and lead teachers to go and visit these primary schools every year. So we meet with admissions directors and principals, and it gives us an ideal way to make sure that we've got the most up-to-date information that we can relay on to you. So it means that it takes the pressure off when you are applying for those primary schools, and we can give you the information that we think is most appropriate. So it takes the pressure off, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to do those. So I just want to show you where our children went on to at the end of the school year. So these are our 5-year-olds who have gone on to the primary schools. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, everybody. If you do have any questions, we're at booth 34. So please do come and find us. And I've got my experienced Montessori and traditional teachers also on hand. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful afternoon.